So you have orders to move to Vandenberg Space Force Base? Well, there's a lot of options when you move out here, when you get here. So I'm going to walk you through a few options where you can live on base and specifically off base. I can talk to you about drive times and the different towns that are going to be available for you to live in, because you do have a lot of choices to make when you're moving here to the central coast of California. So here we go. My name is Bruce Carson. I'm with Keller Williams Realty, Central Coast, and I get calls from people just like you every single day, helping military and other people move here to the Central Coast. If you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, it doesn't matter to me. Just give me a call, shoot me a text, or an email. All of my contact information is below. But do make sure that you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I post videos about moving to the Central Coast. But today we're talking about moving from one Space Force base to another, and the other is Vandenberg here on the Central Coast. The reason why I'm shooting this video is I've made the move here to the Central Coast. It's not easy, it's not an easy decision, but I made the move and I'm really happy that I did. So if you're going to be shipped off to Vandenberg, there's the main feeder Space Force bases are coming out of Colorado, California, and Florida. So I actually used to live in Colorado about 25 years ago, and I worked at Peterson Air Force Base, and did a little bit of work at Shriver as well. Never made it out to Patrick Loser in Florida, or Buckley, which is in Colorado, and then of course we have Los Angeles. So those are our main bases that feed in here. If you're coming from another base, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to help and make it a little bit easier, because when I made my move to Colorado from California, I was not welcome there at all. I was like a fish out of water, and people really didn't like me because I was driving around with California plates in Colorado. You should not expect that at all when you move to California. We're a lot more accepting. It's a very happy, friendly place, and you're moving to one of the best places in the state of California, which is one of the best states in the United States. So welcome to the Central Coast. Here we go. This is the base itself. Vandenberg, it has a lot of property, it's really big, and it is right along the coast of California. This is really prime property, and it's all private because it's military. So really the only way that you could see any of this if you're not military is to take the train that goes up and down the state of California, and we'll zip through here and show you some of the property that you can't see otherwise as a civilian. So proximity wise, this is why I wanted to show this map. So I'm going to show you some towns to our north, some towns to our south, nothing really eastbound. If anyone's moving here, it doesn't matter how long you're moving here, I would really recommend take advantage of your situation and live right here on the California coast. You might as well take advantage of our beautiful Mediterranean climate and very limited seasons. It's kind of a nice change for people that are coming from where you're coming. A lot of you are coming from Colorado, from Florida, folks in LA. It's not going to be that much different for you, but it's going to be much cooler for sure. So this is the whole entire base. This is where they do the launch points. I think it's down here that they do the launches, but it might be this point right there. I'm not sure. I haven't been on base for quite some time. So, but it's cool. Wherever you live here on the coast, you can see the rockets shooting off into space. And it's always an exciting time. So let's go ahead. We're going to walk through. If you choose not to live on base and you want to explore the other parts of the Central Coast where you could live and commute to base, I'm going to walk you through that. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to call, text, or email me. All of my contact information is listed below. Okay, so you're shipping off to California. Welcome. I'm excited to have you come here, and thank you for your service. I appreciate that as well. Anyway, so this is the Central Coast. It's a zoom in. We're going to be showing you a bunch of different towns and opportunities to live right here along the Central Coast. If you haven't been to California, it's a big state. So this little map of California shows you just how big it is. So if you were to start down here in San Diego and you try to drive up to the coast all the way up, that's going to be probably a 20 to 24 hour drive. So it's a long way. It's also a long drive to go across. So if you go from the coast here out to Yosemite, you know, that's a 5-6 hour drive. So California is a big state, and we're talking about the Central Coast. So Vandenberg Air Force Base is right, Space Force Base is right here, right in Santa Barbara County. So you're going to have the opportunity, if you choose not to live on base, you can come down here and live in Santa Barbara County all the way down to Santa Barbara. And I would keep you in San Luis Obispo County. I'm going to go over some drive times and some commute ideas to let you know just how far away these are. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about San Luis Obispo, Pismo Beach. We're going to go to Guadalupe, Santa Maria, Nipomo, and Santa Barbara. So we're talking about drive times if you want to live off base. There's a lot of beautiful places to live, and if you're bringing your family, you're really going to want to choose the right community for your family to live in. So you have options. We're going to start driving again from the north, from San Luis Obispo, drive time to Vandenberg, and then we're going to go all the way down through all these towns, and then all the way to Santa Barbara that goes up to Vandenberg. So lots and lots of drive times here, and let's get to it. Our northernmost town that I would recommend living in and commuting to Vandenberg is San Luis Obispo. So right here in San Luis Obispo, California, that is it's the heart of San Luis Obispo County. San Luis Obispo is our biggest town here on the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. And we have Cal Poly, which is a college town. So it's kind of a young, fun, hip town to live in. It's also been voted the happiest and the sunniest place in the country. We're like number 1 or 2. When you get to that high, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, lots of sun, lots of warm weather. The weather's a little bit warmer in San Luis Obispo. You can see that we're a little bit inland to the coast. The coast here, the water creates fog and it cools our weather down. So once we go inland, this is the Highway 101. We can be fogged in all over down here. We go up the 101. As soon as we take this turn to San Luis Obispo, it clears up and the fog is gone. So you want to keep that in mind. Do you like living in the cool, foggy weather? Do you like living in the sun? Do you want to be cold or do you want to be hot? You get to choose when you move here, and that's why I'm doing this for you. Because nobody did this for me when I was moving to Colorado, and I wish they did. So that's San Luis Obispo. San Luis Obispo is also a very fun place to be. The downtown area is, just filled with cool shopping, lots of great restaurants, lots of hiking opportunities. So it's a real fun, hip, nice place to live. At San Luis Obispo, it is kind of be on the higher end price-wise of all of the, with the exception of Santa Barbara, with all of the other communities that we're going to talk about. San Luis Obispo is going to be up there price-wise, but if you can afford it, it's worth it. So now we're going to be heading southbound down to Pismo Beach. Pismo Beach. Pismo Beach is a small town with a huge beach. So the beach here is truly amazing in Pismo. Pismo is a quaint little town. It's a lot of fun to go and visit. Fun bars and restaurants and shopping, lots of outdoor activities. So if you want to move to Pismo, and let's say you're coming from like Petefield or somewhere from Colorado, well, you're going to want to cash in those snowshoes for flip-flops. You're going to want to cash in that snowboard for surfboard, because we have great surf here. This is our pier. You can come out here and fish off the pier for free. You don't have to have a license to come out and fish. So there's really a lot of activities and fun things going on in Pismo Beach. Now, I was going to mention the drive times. I didn't tell you that a drive time to Vandenberg Space Force Base from San Luis Obispo is about 50 minutes, 50 minutes. And if you're going to Vandenberg from Pismo Beach, that drive is going to be about 38 minutes. So you want to pay attention to that, because you're going to have to balance kind of like how much time you want to spend in the car versus your quality of life. Just a decision that you get to make, because the California Central Coast, all these towns are not alike. They're not at all. So now from Pismo Beach, we're going to head down south to our next town. Our next stop is going to be Nipomo, California. We just left Pismo Beach. It's about a 10-minute drive right down Highway 101 to Nipomo. But just looking at my line here, you can see that Highway 101, when we're leaving the beach and going to Nipomo, it goes inland. Okay, obviously we're right on the beach. We're gonna have a lot of fog, coastal influence, marine layers. You know, that just happens. We get a lot of fog, but we also get a lot of amazing, beautiful weather. But if you don't like that cold, soupy fog, don't come to Pismo Beach. You can go inland to like Arroyo Grande, or you can go down south and inland right here to Nipomo. So Nipomo has a shorter drive time. It's about 28 minutes to Vandenberg. And the advantages of Nipomo is you get some bigger houses, some bigger properties, so you get a little more elbow room down there. The weather is, I'd say, about 5 degrees warmer than up here in Pismo, with a lot more sun, or basically a lot less influence from the coast, so not as much fog in Nipomo, and you get more space, bigger houses, more bang for your buck. Starting from San Luis Obispo and moving down, the prices are going down the farther south that we go. So we want to pay attention to that. The closer we get to the Vandenberg Space Force Base, you know, the less we're going to be spending on our housing. So it's really important. There's a balance between, you know, where you live, how much it's going to cost, and you know, who lives there, who you're going to be dealing with, and what you're doing for your fun and recreation. So next stop after Nipomo is Santa Maria. We're going down into Santa Barbara County. Nipomo was our southernmost town in San Luis Obispo County, and we're going down the coastline. The next town is Santa Maria. Santa Maria, California starts right at the northern border of Santa Barbara County. So as soon as you get into the county, we drive over a bridge over a generally dry river. It's a big bridge over a river bed with the water in it. And sometimes we get water and rain. It doesn't happen very much around here in California. But that brings us to Santa Maria, All America City. Santa Maria is a big town. It is more of an industrial and agriculture town. So in Santa Maria, there's a lot more people. There's a lot more congestion and traffic. You spend, you know, quite a bit more time at every stoplight than you do in the towns in San Luis Obispo County. Now we're in Santa Barbara. Advantage of Santa Maria, it's more affordable. It's definitely closer to Vandenberg Air Force Base with a drive time just about 16 minutes from Santa Maria to Vandenberg Air Force Base. Nipomo would have been about 20 to 25 minutes to the Air Force Base. Sorry, I didn't give that number before. Santa Maria has more big box stores, more big restaurants, more chain restaurants than we see in San Luis Obispo County. So if you live or just visit Santa Maria, it's a great place to go because of that. Also, there's so much agriculture, so many strawberries and fresh fruit coming out of there. You can always go to fruit stands and get fresh fruit and vegetables in Santa Maria, pretty much all over the coast, but more so in Santa Maria. That part of the valley is just really big, has a lot of agriculture. So now we're going to move down to the southern part of Santa Maria to a town called Orcutt with 2 T's. Very, very popular for Vandenberg people. Orcutt's kind of a funny town. It is a town, but it's actually a part of Santa Maria. But everyone likes to call it Orcutt because it's the nicest and the nicer part of Santa Maria. It's all the way to the south and a lot closer to the Air Force Base. So your drive time from the Air Force Base to and fro for Orcutt is going to be right around 14 minutes or so. So it's not a bad drive. Now, in Orcutt, we find a couple of things. We have some really nice communities that have newer homes. They're big homes, and they have a little bit more land, and they're priced lower than our friends up north. Another thing that we see in Orcutt that's very, very popular is the older homes. Like here, this is in Old Town Market. Old Town Market in Old Town Orcutt. Super quaint, super cool little place to go visit. Really fun day trip wherever you live. But if you choose to buy a home down there, you can find that the older homes in Orcutt, they have good size homes. They tend to be single level and really big lots. So on that big lot, if you're down there in Orcutt with the big lots, you can build accessory dwelling units or granny units and create rental opportunities or opportunities to house more family, or you can just enjoy, the big space, like a huge backyard, put a pool in there, big dog runs, lots and lots of space, like we're talking a quarter of an acre or bigger in town. So that's really a huge bonus about Orcutt. Now, Orcutt is going to be the highest price point in Santa Maria. Keeping in mind that Orcutt, they call it its own town, but it is just the southern part of Santa Maria, and it's the closest part to Vandenberg Space Force Base. So the huge advantage if you work at Vandenberg is that Orcutt is right on the Highway 1 and 135, and that goes southbound and off to the base. So you're looking at like a 12-minute commute from Orcutt to Space Force Base. Our next town is an up-and-comer. It's a small little town right on Highway 1. So it's still pretty close to the coast. Highway 1's our highway that goes all the way up and down the California coast, goes down into Mexico, and even farther up into Oregon and beyond. So this town is called Guadalupe. It is a small town. You see population a little over 5,500. I'm actually surprised it's that much. You folks coming from Colorado, you'll love this, that Guadalupe is kind of up high with an elevation of 85 feet. So the other towns that we've been talking about are even lower than that, especially like Pismo Beach. We're talking 15, 20 feet of elevation. And when you're in Colorado and other parts of the world, you're talking hundreds of feet and thousands of feet when you're talking about your elevation. But anyway, so Guadalupe is a small little town, again, right along Highway 1. And the cool thing about Guadalupe is you definitely get more bang for your buck when you buy a home. Now, when we got word about the Air Force Base turning into Space Force Base at Vandenberg, then the folks down there in Guadalupe started purchasing and building some new homes. So there are a lot of new homes down there. And again, you're going to spend less money for a nice new home in Guadalupe. Your drive time from Guadalupe is only about 12 minutes to the Air Force Base. Santa Barbara, this is our southernmost town that we're going to talk to. It's an hour and 15-minute commute to Vandenberg. But some people think that it's worth it, and they do the commute. By the way, going from our last town, Lompoc, again, is about 12 minutes commute. We're looking at an hour and 15 minutes to drive from Santa Barbara up to the Air Force Base. And that should be an SFB for Space Force Base. So, sorry about that. Anyway, Santa Barbara, you've probably heard of Santa Barbara. You hear on the news, like we have a lot of movie stars live there, work there. I think the Royals live there. Those English Royals live there. So it's a very, very ritzy, expensive town. So you want to make sure you have plenty of money to spend on your rent or purchase of a home when you're going to Santa Barbara. It's just really expensive, but it is a gorgeous town. You can tell from this view right here. The advantages of Santa Barbara is just because it's an hour and 15 minutes south of Vandenberg, that we're that much closer to Ventura County and then Los Angeles County, which is going to be next in line down south. So when you're in Santa Barbara, you're really pretty close to Los Angeles. And that's why another reason why people like Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is kind of like a getaway for LA people to come up. And then people like us that live up north of Santa Barbara, if we're lucky enough to afford it, we're going to drive down, we're going to enjoy Santa Barbara, and then do our commute up to Space Force Base. So those are our towns. We have a lot of different towns around here, but I could just do a video all day long talking about all the different communities. But I just wanted to cover you and talk to you about the different climates and the different areas all along the coast and commute times to Vandenberg Space Force Base. Again, I'm Bruce Carson with Keller Williams Realty Central Coast. I've helped a lot of people just like you make the move here when they get transferred to Vandenberg. I've had a lot of people buy homes sight unseen. I will take care of you. You're out of town, I'm here. I'll be your boots on the ground and your helper. So if you want to see a house and you can't be here, I'm going to be there with my cell phone. I'm going to set up a Zoom meeting and we'll just do a video conference, and you tell me what you want to see and what you don't want to see, and zoom in on this and help me out with that. I've done it numerous times, and then people move to the state, stop here by my office in Pismo Beach, pick up their keys, and then move on with their U-Haul or what have you to their new home by Vandenberg Space Force Base. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep in touch with me. Let me know anything that I can do to help you here on the Central Coast. If you just want information, if you want to buy a house, if you want to sell a house, I'm here for you.